please share with us your life before receiving Jesus Christ and before surrendering your life to Christ?
Yeah, so I grew up in a Christian household, like most of us. But when I was 17 years old, I fell away. I got with the wrong crowd and got a taste of the world and really enjoyed it. And it just went downhill from there. I got really addicted to drinking, to trying out all kinds of drugs, smoking, and then, all the sexual impurity and all that stuff. And it just started tumbling downhill from there. Then I got into a relationship, and it was very abusive physically and verbally, and I just constantly just put myself through that because it was just all based off just drinking the whole time. I used to drive around with a bottle in my car every single time, and before I do anything, I just have a couple shots just to relax myself and numb myself so that I can get through the day. From there on, I finally got through the relationship after 2.5 years, but I just continued to drink and party. I'd stop by church once in a while just to make my family like, hey, I'm okay. I come to church once in a while. But I just continued to go downhill. And then when I turned 21, I became a bartender. So that just gave me more accessibility to better drugs, better parties, older crowds. And it just continued to just get worse from that point on. Sorry. Staying on track. So when I was 21, before I turned 22, the drinking got so bad that I finally got my first DUI. So it got caught up with me. God gave me actually 4 opportunities where I got pulled over with alcohol in my car, being intoxicated, and I didn't get a DUI, and I didn't learn my lesson from that experience. And so he's like, it's about time, caught up. So I got my first one, and I was just like, God, I'm so sorry. I promise I won't do it again. We always do that when we get in trouble. And like a week later, I went right back to it. And I continued to party. I continued to go out. I continued to drink and drive. I just soared in the kingdom of hell, basically on earth.
So during this time, what were the things that you were experiencing, like some setbacks, and how was your family going through this, seeing you in this kind of condition?
So total, I got 2 DUIs, just so you guys know. Yeah, it just continued to catch up with me. So my family is a very Christian family, and they continued to just pray for me, and they continued to bless me. They knew that God was one day going to deliver me from all of this. But for me, I just continued to go through the same cycle every single time. And then last year, around September time, I broke up or a relationship got broken. That was a big deal. And I felt like it was the end of the world. I went on like a 5-day binge where I just drank and I slept at my friend's house, and they had to physically wake me up and try to feed me to get some food in my system. And then from that point on, I finally showed up at home, and my mom was just like, Leeza, isn't it about time that you take hold of your life, take charge, and she was like, hey, so how about that internship at Hungry Gen? And I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And it took 2 months.
So going back to 2019, you came for the conference at Race to Deliver, right? And this is where you heard about our internship, correct? And it kind of stuck with you a little bit, right? Could you please start from there?
Yeah. So I did show up to the 2019 conference, and it was amazing. But the internship really stuck to me, but it was just something that was in the back of my head. So I knew of it, but I just felt like it wasn't the right timing for me from that point on.
When was your breaking point to kind of surrendering everything to God and, following Him?
Yeah, so 2 months before the internship started, I made the final decision to show up and just surrender everything to God. And I think the moment I finally gave everything to God was as soon as I came here. Because I was just like, God, I'm going to surrender it all. I'm going all in. And I just came here. And for the first week of the internship, I would not stop crying. Just feeling like finally the veil was revealed. And it's like the love of God finally embraced me.
Come on, let's put our hands together for Jesus. That is so wonderful. Would you please share, how are you doing with those addictions that you had to alcohol and drugs and things like that?
Yeah, I feel like God completely delivered me from all that. Yeah, and just giving that, and with that, there was other roots of, anger and gossip and all of that. And I just feel like God completely restored me and made me a brand new vessel to serve his kingdom. And every single day he changes me and transforms me and makes me a better person for him.
Amen, amen, amen. Our God is so wonderful. And lastly, Liz, would you please share a word of advice to people who might be watching us right now or sitting here in the sanctuary and they can connect? They feel like, they are addicted to alcohol or drugs, or they're so far away from God and they can't give up their life for Jesus. What would you suggest to them?
That's a really hard one. But I would just suggest just giving it all to him. I know what it's like constantly being in that cycle and going through it, and you feel like you're comfortable, but God has a greater plan for you. And if you finally surrender it all, you finally give it all and give it to God and let him take the lead, let him take control, he will deliver you from that, and he will set you in such a greater place that just living for him just comes so naturally. It's that love, it's that desire to constantly serve him and make your life devoted to him.
Come on, amen. Thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing your testimony. Come on, let's put our hands together a little bit louder for Jesus Christ, because he is worthy. Jesus is worthy of everything that we are afraid to lose. He is so good, and he is so ready to touch you, to touch your case, the things that you came with today. He is ready. My question is, are you ready to surrender everything to him this morning? And I hope the answer is yes. Amen.